So I started trading back in 2017, and my first 2 years, I blew up 5 trading accounts. And going back, looking back, I mean, yeah, they were terrible times, but because of those reasons, I am a profitable trader today. So going back, I'm gonna actually talk about each trading accounts, how I blew up, and the lessons that I learned, because I think those are gonna be immensely valuable. Probably my most valuable video that I'm gonna be putting out on my channel. So I started with a $1,000 account on Robinhood because at the time Robinhood had just come out with free commissions. So I remember my first stock was actually Twitter. Back then, Twitter was actually a thing. Twitter, now X, they don't trade anymore. But at the time, Twitter was trading public until Elon took it private, right? And it was really, really hot stock like Tesla these days. So I remember I bought my first share and I was up like 20 cents and I sold it. I'm like, oh my God, the best thing ever. I made 20 cents, by just on my phone quickly right away. And anyways, moving forward, started trading and I actually had a beginner's luck. And basically, I had learned the basics of technical analysis, just support resistance. So what I would do, I was look for support levels and buy at the support area, and the stock would bounce immediately most of the time, and I would make money. And then what happened was that I was making like $10, $5, $10 here and there. And then I'm like, I just have a very small account. I cannot really, I mean, now at this time, mind you, I'm already thinking, making like thousands of dollars a month if I just keep doing that. And, by buying more shares, increasing my account. And I'm already thinking, I'm daydreaming. And that led me to a thought, okay, you know what? I have like $1,000 in the account. I'm going to buy a stock for all the $1,000. So I remember this stock was a support. It was like at $12 and the support was at 10. So I was waiting for it for like a couple of days. Finally, it came to 10. I'm like, boom, I bought 100 shares with my $1,000. And guess what? The support broke. Now, normally a support would break. I would like get out or, because I kind of understood a little bit of support resistance. So I would get out. But because it was all my shares, I'm like, I'm going to hold and wait. And guess what? That stock went from 10 to 0. Literally, it went to 10 to 0. I had no clue that could happen. It was some penny stock, and I had no idea what penny stocks were. I mean, I kind of knew, but I didn't know they could just go down. In fact, at the time, penny stock was soaring like to new heights. Penny stock was like a penny stock mania 2017, 2018 at the time. So that's how I blew up my first account. It was just really quick. I mean, I was making money for first few weeks, and then boom, lost all of it in just one trade. But lessons learned was I was like, okay, no, now I need to do my research on a stock and not just buy blindly any stock. So I learned a lesson. I'm like, good, now I got it. I'm going to open another. But this time I put 2,000 because 1,000 was just too less. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to put 2 grand in the account and I'm going to start a new account. Well, now that I knew, need to cut my losses, where I need to cut, or if I support breaks, I started trading. And actually, because I didn't really have a strategy with just support resistance, it would work sometimes, it would not work sometimes. I didn't understand fully the technical analysis at the time, so I didn't really do all the technical analysis. I mean, I just did whatever I knew, and I was just buying on the basis of that, and I was cutting losses. So what happened was over time, actually, I was not blowing up, but I was taking small paper cuts, and my account just started going down to like 1,800, 1,500, 1,400. I would go up a little bit, then go down. So overall, because my strategy wasn't really that strong, and obviously I didn't really have the experience, but still I just wasn't losing like a big chunk all of a sudden, right? Because I was cutting my losses quickly. Anyways, after like 2 months, my account was drained to like $200 and it was like almost done. I couldn't really buy much out of it, right? So I blew up that way. But this time, the first account took me like 3 weeks. The second account took me like 2 months to blow up. But I was like, okay, you know what? At least it took longer to blow up. So I still know, and now I know, you know what? Next time I need to have some strategy as well. So I started learning more. So my third account, I opened another 2 grand account, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna trade with that. But now this time I'm gonna have a better strategy. So I learned more, took courses, while on the way, and the whole time I'm like learning. I'm getting a little bit better, but I'm still losing money. Now the third account I did was I was making money, and then I was losing money, I was making money, I was losing money. And the problem was at that time that I did have a strategy, and when it would work, I would make money. But then when I would not work, I would lose a lot more money. So still, even though my account was still going down and down and down, but this time, oh, there was a little ups too. So there were ups as well. And then eventually, after like 3-4 months, I started draining my account and I blew up again. Now, mind you, I'm like a year into my trading career, and I am just depressed. Whatever I'm doing is just not working. It is just not working. I was in a very mentally shitty state, to be really honest. And but then looking back, I was like, you know what? The thing what really kept me going was, I was like, the first account took me like, few weeks. The second took me few months. The third took me even like 6 months to blow up my account. So at least, I'm like losing slowly. I'm still losing, but I'm losing slowly. And that kept me going. And also in the same time, the whole year, I kept learning new things here and there. I had more experience of looking at the charts, seeing what works and what didn't. And then the other part what I learned was my losses were way bigger. And the reason why, because in one trade I would risk $100, and the next trade I'm like, oh, it's working great, so I will risk $200. What would happen was that I would make 100 the first time, but I would lose 200. So even though I had a 50% win rate, I would still lose money, right? So I would go down, and then I would risk less, then I would make money, then I would increase my risk again I would lose, so again I would go down more. So then I realized, oh, you know what? It's not just the strategy, but also the position size. I need to risk the same amount of money each trade. Because if I lose $100 and then I make $100 again, or make $200, okay, if I risk the same amount each trade, 100, 100, 100, even with like a 60% win rate, with just 1-to-1 risk to reward, I will make more, right? I will just end up eventually profitable. So I was like, you know what? Now I got it. I'm gonna fourth account. I'm like super pumped again. I was depressed for a few days, but then eventually I'm like, you know what? I build up self-confidence. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do one more time. So then the fourth account, I actually started making some money. And I was like, you know what? Great. So then what I did was, I'm like, now I'm making money, $100. I'm gonna risk $300 per trade. And guess what? I took 2 trading losses back to back. Boom, I'm down 600. It took me like 1.5 or 2 months to make 600 actually. And I lost all of it in just one day. That took a huge toll on me. I'm like, what to do now? Like, how am I gonna, survive like this? So then I did more research. Turns out that when you want to once you're making money, increase by 10%. So instead of going from $100 to $300 per trade risk, once I'm starting making money at $100, I'm comfortable risking $100, risk only $120 now. Just increase 20% or 10% risk. So even if you lose, you're not going to have a huge drawdown. So I'm like, great, you know what? I'm going to do that. And actually things were going great. And then one day I was super emotional. Something happened. I don't remember what it was. I didn't sleep that night or whatever. I took multiple losses back to back, and I end up revenge trading. And instead of 200, I risked like 500,000 and blew up my whole account. It took me 8 months. It took me 8 months to really get consistency, and boom, in just one day I blew it up. That was I'm actually kind of getting sad thinking about it, because I remember that day. Because when you have those like really big rough days, you remember those memories are very solid in you. And that's what I'm kind of remembering right now. And that was, again, I had hit rock bottom. Now I'm 1.5 years into my trading. And again, said to my same thing. Every time, the only positive thing was that I was blowing up, and it was taking me longer and longer time to blow up. And so I sat back again, and I think this was my 5th account. That's how I blew my 5th account. And that's when I came out. I was like, you know what? This is just not going. I need to be more. I need to like study more, do more. And that's when I came across my bracket strategy, where I've like, that's my video where I have like over 20,000 views on it. And basically the strategy was that when I'm entering into a trade, all trade will be a same risk. Each trade will have a stop loss, and each trade will have a profit target as well. So that would take care of my position sizing. That will take care of my risk management. That will take out my emotions as well, because now I'm just putting the trades, putting the bracket order, and then walking away most of the time. So that really, really, really changed my trading. And that's when I started. And then for like next 6 months, the first couple of months, actually, I made all the money back that I lost in my first 2 years. And that was a huge, huge turning point. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. After like 6 months of making money, I was consistently making money. That's when I really made this YouTube channel. And I was like, you know what, now I know what I'm doing. And still I made a lot of mistakes after, but never blew up my trading account anymore. And so a lot of lessons. I mean, I can go on and on. There's so many stories, like depressing nights, studying all night, going to work and then coming after work and then doing Uber so I can, save money from my next trading account once I blew up, because I was thinking I'm going to blow up. I was really mentally also very, 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 very broken my first year. So, I mean, the lessons that I learned, and I really think that I'm going to summarize these lessons, but basically lessons were that do your trading research, like, have a trading strategy, have a proper risk management. So risk the same amount of money each trade. So even though you lose one, you make one, you will end up profitable if you're making more then you're losing trade. So let's say if you're risking 100, make 150 or 200, and if you're losing 100, you only lose 100. So even with 50% win rate, you end up profitable, right? One of the biggest thing now that I get the privilege to teach some guys as well, right? Most of them, they have the same issue. They have great trade because they've been trading for a while, they understand it, but the only thing they're messing up is their risk management. That's why if you go through all my videos, pretty much every single video I talk about risk management. I talk about stops. I talk about having a strategy. That's why I make strategy videos, because those are really, 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 really bottom of my heart, right? They really, really come from the bottom of my heart. I've gone through all that stress. I mean, I can go on and on, but the final is, again, risk management, have a good strategy, and proper risk to reward. That way, even 50% risk win rate, you can actually make money. And then once you get more and more experience, you get more chart experience, you get better and better, your trading win rate keeps getting better and better and better. All right, guys, hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.